Did do was confirm, yes, that is the same Robert Jason Owens that is mentioned in that case. And APD Sergeant Dave Romick is here today for any of those questions, and he's also very limited because this is an ongoing investigation. And once again, I want to really stress our primary goal right now is successful prosecution of this case.
So what about a motive? Do you have any idea? You can't say anything.
A couple things I really didn't, that I can allude to today was what he talked about in that interview and also discuss any possible motives, because we are still working this case, doing interviews, processing evidence, and what we know right now might not be exactly what we know in a week or 2 weeks from now surrounding motive or anything having to do with that.
Sheriff Duncan, can you talk about the extent of the relationship between Jason Owens and Hodds? Can you talk about how they knew one another?
What I can tell you, and I think what's been reported on already, is that he did work for the Codds at that residence. He is a contractor, does handiwork type things, and he had worked with the Codds there at that residence for a period of time.
As a result of this arrest, at least for the Quinn case, is this basically giving you guys a sense of fresh eyes now with this case, or has there been any illumination since he's been arrested as to the status of that case?
Well, it's definitely a significant event. The fact that he has been arrested on 3 counts of murder, that is a huge event in the Zeb Quinn case. And we're going to continue on following up on all investigative leads. I can't go into any detail as to what those are, what we're going to be doing, but it is a big event.
Have you guys gotten any new leads as in the Quinn case as a result of what's happened in that past?
I can't go into those details.
What was you said there was evidence of suspicious activity that the officers saw. Can you elaborate at all? What was the suspicious activity?
Well, the dogs were there. It was obviously they hadn't been taken care of like they normally are taken care of and that kind of thing. Just things that would lead us to believe that we needed to investigate further. You know, the Sheriff's Office receives hundreds of check on the welfare of individuals. The vast majority result in folks, you know, nothing bad's happened to them, but just kind of out of pocket, couldn't contact relatives. This was one, when we went in, we knew that we had to follow up on further.
Was there anything you would call forensic? Was there destruction?
We did execute a search warrant on that house, and we did collect several things from that house, but those are the things that I really can't get into the detail of or the importance of.
But the patrol officers did not necessarily see anything like that.
What they did is they went in, they knew we needed to follow up further, and detectives responded to the scene.
Can you tell us what was burning on Donna Drive?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't remember anything about the Donna Drive is where the dumpster was located that I had mentioned earlier, that we went out about somebody suspiciously dumping things into the dumpster there at Donna Drive. I don't recall anything about any kind of anything burning at Donna Drive.
So that's how you got onto him, though, with that suspicious, the dumping.
That's where the initial inquiry into him and talking with him came from. Yes.
So are you connecting this morning's fire with this investigation now? Are you guys making any connections? Are you working together on it?
We're certainly working together on it, but connections would be premature. Terry Gentry with the Buncombe County Fire Marshal and the arson task force is there working that fire like they would any other any other fire that might be suspicious. That could be an arson.
Does it complicate anything, that fire from this morning, at least in terms of the investigation?
Sure does raise a lot of questions, and I mean, it would not be truthful to say that it didn't, but we don't know what we have with that, and we continue to work through that and process that scene. The task force does.
Was any evidence ruined in that fire?
I would have no way of knowing that.
This is probably a question for APD, but has he been re-questioned in the Zeb Quinn case?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Has Owens been interviewed again in the Zeb Quinn case investigation?
No, not to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
Can you talk, it says in the warrant that the bodies were destroyed. I mean, obviously, if it's in a state, everybody's assuming they were burned. Is that what happened?
Well, what I have disclosed with you today is we did recover what we believe to be human remains from a wood stove at that location there.
That had been burned?
Owens Cove. That's really about as far as I want to go into that. We did collect everything that we thought to be of value, and it has been sent for forensic evaluation.
When you mentioned earlier, Sheriff, you said that it was JT Todd remains in the stove, but nothing concerning.
No, I didn't say, I said human remains. We, in all honesty, Brian, we don't, that's the reason why a lot of times, it seems like law enforcement ought to be able to step forward and tell you, but in our business, we don't know what we know till we absolutely know it. And a lot of that will come with the forensic examination of that and the testing of those things. So we think we did recover human remains. At least a portion of those were in a wood stove there at Owens Cove Road.
Is there a timeline yet from the medical examiner or the examiner's office on ID and cause of death?
What I can tell you in a case that, in a case to where you're looking at forensic processing, you're looking at an extended period of time. In this particular case, I can tell you that we are going to look at every resource that we can to expedite that and get the highest level of expertise, also with the quickest return on results.
What was Owens' wife like when you started questioning her? Was she really forthcoming with the information, or did you really have to grill her?
Those are things we can't. We questioned her after we had talked with Mr. Owens, and I wasn't present for that interview. I can't speak for that, and it wouldn't be proper to.
Could you address at all the timeline of when I know it was listed as Thursday that they were murdered. Is that still what you believe? Because we did interview that gentleman who had texted. He was supposed to have a meeting with JT Wednesday night, and JT never showed up.
What I would say to that is one of the first things we did in the investigation was secure those records. So whatever texts from those phones were sent, we have. I would also say, as the detectives work and as you read the warrants, it says on or about. Some of this is not, as we know, cannot be as precise and exact as you think it might be able to be. But on or about that Thursday is when we believe that to have occurred.
So it could possibly be Wednesday.
It's not outside the realm of possibility.
And then on the timeline thing too, so the break-in wasn't until Sunday, is that right?
We did not discover the break-in until Sunday. We did not discover there had been a break-in until Sunday, and I'm not really, and I really didn't review the warrants for the B&E, so I don't know that it alludes to a timeline in that warrant, but if it does, you'll be able to find that in that document.
But do you believe the break-in happened before the deaths, or?
Can't speculate. Can't speculate, but that's Sunday is when we became aware of the break-in.
And just a couple more points on that. So you went over there Sunday and you interviewed him. When was that? And that's probably in there, but I just want to make sure I get
It
that
was
right.
It was the early morning hours of Monday morning.
Monday?
This whole thing started Sunday afternoon,
Right.
with the timeline at 3:23 when the original call came in. Detectives interviewed Mr. Owen at his residence about 1:30 Monday morning.
So they interviewed him 1:30 Monday morning. And when was he spotted at the dumpster? Was that Monday morning? Sunday night?
It was Sunday night that we received the call.
And then you found the bodies when
We went to the
Or the remains.
residence and executed the search warrants. Sometime around 10:20, and that would be Monday.
So you found the bodies Monday morning?
I'm sorry, say it
You
again.
found the bodies Monday morning, or did it
We
take you a while?
executed the search warrant at 10:20 p.m. at the Owen residence, and sometime during the processing of that residence is when we found what I refer to as what we think are human remains.
That was
10:20
Monday night or
a.m.?
Sunday night?
10:20 p.m. That will be Monday night.
Man, when did he confess to you all and then?
Remember, I have not said anything about a confession. We sat down and we had an interview with him. He admitted to several things that we've made reference to that are in the warrants, and I can't go beyond that about talking what transpired in that interview. But that would have been Monday night.
Can you say anything about what he was seen dumping?
The suspicious dumping is how the call came in, and and I'll take you back, and as I kind of alluded to a minute ago, or made reference of, they did find Christy Showens' ID in that dumpster, and several other items that came from the house. And we're probably about at the point where we've discussed everything as far as detail, and I really have. I appreciate you folks being patient. I know it's been tough. I know there seems like there should have been questions that we could have answered early on right up front, but I think after today and after hearing the rest of these details, you understand why we couldn't. At this time, we'll go ahead and release the press conference, and once again, I appreciate y'all for coming today and being patient where we could get in front of you and collect it. Thank you.
Thank you.